May 2nd on this day, in 1519, Leonardo da Vinci, acclaimed artist, architect, and engineer, passed away in France. His iconic paintings, such as the Mona Lisa, remain some of the most recognized artworks in the world. In 1536, Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII, was sent to the Tower of London on charges of adultery and incest. Although she was likely innocent, she was later convicted and executed. In 1598, King Henry IV of France signed the Treaty of Vervins, bringing an end to Spain's interference in French affairs. In 1611, the King James Version of the Bible was published for the first time, becoming one of the most influential translations in history. In 1670, the Hudson Bay Company was founded, becoming one of the oldest commercial corporations in North America. In 1729, Catherine II, also known as Catherine the Great, was born. She later became Empress of Russia and was renowned for her significant contributions to Russian society and modernization. In 1748, the Peace of Aix-la-Chapelle ended the War of Devolution in France. In 1776, France and Spain agreed to donate arms to American rebels fighting against British forces during the American Revolution. In 1797, a mutiny among British Navy sailors spread from Spithead to the rest of the fleet, highlighting unrest within the Royal Navy. In 1798, General Toussaint Louverture, a prominent black leader, compelled British troops to evacuate the port of Santo Domingo, furthering the Haitian fight for independence. In 1803, the United States purchased the Louisiana Territory from France for $15 million, doubling the country's size and expanding west of the Mississippi River. In 1808, the citizens of Madrid rose up against the occupying forces of Napoleon, marking the beginning of the Spanish War of Independence. In 1813, Napoleon Bonaparte defeated Russian and Prussian forces at the Battle of Grossgorschen during his campaign in Central Europe. In 1837, Henry Martin Robert, best known for creating Robert's Rules of Order, was born. In 1863, Confederate General Stonewall Jackson launched a surprise attack on Joseph Hooker's flank at Chancellorsville, Virginia, during the American Civil War. In 1866, Jesse Lazier, an American physician and yellow fever researcher, was born. His work contributed to understanding the disease's transmission. In 1885, King Leopold II of Belgium established the Congo Free State, placing it under his personal control, a regime later condemned for human rights abuses. In 1889, Emperor Menelik II of Ethiopia signed the Treaty of WWII with Italy, granting Italian control over parts of northern Ethiopia in return for assistance. In 1890, the territory of Oklahoma was created, paving the way for future statehood. In 1892, Manfred von Richthofen, later known as the Red Baron and Germany's top fighter ace during World War I, was born in Breslau, now Wrocław, Poland. In 1903, Benjamin Spock, an influential American pediatrician, author, and activist, was born. His books on child care shaped parenting for generations. In 1919, the first United States air passenger service was launched, marking the beginning of commercial air travel. In 1920, the Negro National League, founded by Rube Foster, held its first professional baseball game, providing a stage for legendary players like Cool Papa Bell and Satchel Paige. In 1921, Satyajit Ray, the Bengali director who brought Indian cinema to world recognition with works like the Apu trilogy, was born in Kolkata. In 1923, Lieutenants Oakley Kelly and John McCready embarked from New York on the first successful non-stop transcontinental flight to the West Coast. In 1935, supporters of the Sakdalista movement rose up briefly against unfair land tenancy laws in Luzon, Philippines. In 1939, Lou Gehrig, known as the Iron Horse of American baseball, ended his record streak of 2,130 consecutive games played, a mark that stood for decades before being surpassed by Cal Ripken, Jr. In 1941, hostilities erupted between British forces in Iraq and local pro-German factions, reflecting the global tensions of World War II. In 1945, the Battle of Berlin concluded as Soviet forces captured the city after 12 days of fierce house-to-house fighting. German Commander General Helmuth Weidling surrendered, marking the fall of Nazi Germany's capital. In 1946, an attempted prison escape by 6 inmates at Alcatraz led to 2 days of violent clashes, later known as the Battle of Alcatraz. In 1970, student anti-war protesters at Kent State University in Ohio burned down the Reserve Officers Training Corps building, prompting the National Guard to take control of the campus. In 1982, the Argentine cruiser General Belgrano was sunk by the British submarine HMS Conqueror during the Falklands War, resulting in the loss of more than 350 lives. In 1997, Tony Blair, leader of the Labour Party, became Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He was the youngest person to take the office since 1812. In 1997, American businessman Donald Trump and his second wife Marla Maples publicly announced their separation. In 2008, Cyclone Nargis struck Myanmar, causing the deaths of over 130,000 people and leaving millions homeless in one of the country's worst natural disasters. In 2008, Marvel Studios released the first film of its cinematic universe, Iron Man, directed by Jon Favreau and starring Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, launching a blockbuster movie franchise. In 2011, Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind the September 11 attacks and America's most wanted fugitive, was killed by United States Special Forces in Abbottabad, Pakistan. In 2016, Leicester City achieved a historic sporting upset by winning the English Premier League title, despite starting the season with 5,000-to-1 odds. In 2023, the Writers Guild of America voted to strike over pay and industry changes, resulting in the halt of television production across the United States.
Subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's events.